Alright, so I'm Brian, stop, get the slide says, and this is Dan. He talked a lot last time. Our project was install, if you remember it from last time. Our goal for it was to have an easy software installer for RPI software, so that when you, as a new student, you could come in, go to a class, and have the list of software you need to go install. You could hop onto install, go to that class, and just easily install everything without having to require input, in case you, because there's a lot of steps to some of the installers that are just very difficult. So we wanted to have the software installation, printer installation, because printer installation is also a pain, and group software by class, so you can just install everything from a class at once. So we've made progress. It's not quite to our vision yet, but our basic progress is that the basic stuff works. So we have a client. It can talk to the web. All the stuff's on the web, and we have one-click installation for at least a sample program, and it all works fine. So Dan's going to talk about the web stuff, and then continue from there.
So the way we split it up is the client was pretty involved. Brian took care of the client. I took care of the web along with a good amount of the printing code. So for the web, right now we can just add packages. You can click it, it'll do one-click install. Another thing is we can detect if you're in a web browser or if you're in the client. So if you click install and you're in a normal web browser, it'll prompt you to download the client and install that. If you're in the client, it automatically goes through and configures and installs the software for you. On the other side, we don't have a slide for this, but I did printing. So right now, it's not implemented on the online version yet, so if you go to the blog or anything, it's not there. It's still a work in progress, but you can click install, it'll go through, it'll diagnose your connection to all the print servers on campus. So a lot of students have a problem printing because they're not authenticated to the server anymore, or something went wrong with their connection there. So we also diagnose that before we attempt to install the printer again. All that's working, so then the client.
Yeah, on the client side of things, the basic installation functionality is there, and the client will track the progress of individual installations and kind of give you an idea of what's going on, so it doesn't just freeze up while it's installing something. And it'll let you know what it's doing and what the progress is of the installation. And it talks to the client, talks to the website, so it knows what to do and everything. So with that, we have a demo, which is very exciting. So over to the client here, and this is our lovely client. We have lots of Notepad++s because it's the best.
Apparently when you're trying to make a package manager, you make a lot of packages that don't work before it does.
Yeah. So say I wanted Notepad++ because someone told me it was good. So I'm on my client, so I click install, and it will, right now it's downloading the installer, and it makes a temporary directory for this to happen in. Runs the installer silently, so you don't have to put any input into it at all. And once it's done, deletes the installer, and it's finished. And if you go to Start menu, there's Notepad++ right there. Probably should have shown that it wasn't installed first, but it wasn't. And so that's our demo. So now we have things to add in the future.
So one little thing we don't have right now is if you're in the client and let's say you already have a program installed, it can't tell the website that it's already installed and just track for updates and things like that. So that's one thing we'll work in the future. Right now we're just doing installs specifically on Windows, and we're not caring about which bit version you have, so we'd like to add that. And other things such as updating, and right now we don't have any of the class selection where you can do a whole class at once. But we have basic stuff installing and printing, so.
The important part. So, thanks to all of RCOS, Professor Moorthy, and Shauna Sullivan, and the support of the club. Any questions?
It looks like you're running the installers just with like a bunch of command line parameters.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle if the installer has an error when it runs? Do you do that?
Right now, it's not handled. It can tell that the process exited with an error, but there's not really anything there to like handle it well yet. But that is a planned feature.
Well, I think it's pretty cool right now as it is. But do you think it's possible for like make the program register like a custom URL scheme, so that then you could just like from your browser, like or naive I guess, and install or just launch the app
Yeah, it's pretty much doing that on its own. We just hide that right now. So there's a lot of things we'd like to, right now we'd like to get the foundation going so then we can just build up features on top of that. So.
Is there some standard way you guys can find the EULA of the app that you're installing and present it to the user? Because right now it almost seems like you're signing a contract without someone's permission, right?
So one thing I've been working on a lot recently that has been giving me problems is authentication. So you give your RPI ID, but then the program can, once it authenticates that that's a valid thing, it can hand it off to the web end, which the school does give a EULA if you ever installed software through the school. It can give it to the servers on campus. So when you're authenticating to install, and it'll handle all of that. We just have not got there. We just wanted very basic software installation, so we knew that worked. And a lot of different setups that you run actually have an administrator mode. So if you're an IT professional, you can install stuff silently, and we're kind of working off that end of it.
Okay.
So.
Who first? Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll go. Does it have to be hard coded for each piece of software, or does it?
So the way we're doing it right now is we have two scripts actually in each package. There's a basic script and an advanced script. Right now we're just running the basic one, which is an automated install that is hard coded. Where I also have an advanced script, so if you're a user who wants to say, I want this on the D drive, I don't want to do the full installation, you can select that and it'll prompt you for all that information.
I was just wondering if you could explain a little bit between the website and the client, because it looked like the client was just like a view of the website.
Oh, well the website end does it actually tracks all the packages and keeps track of all the data, like what user you are, what you've installed. The client, when it calls the script, knows how to handle the script and a lot of the advanced variables that we've incorporated. Because the installer is a batch script, except we had to add things such as advanced features to authenticate to different servers and stuff like that, just so the basic stuff would work with our authentication.
Yeah. So do you have the actual installer package on your website itself, or do you like pull from the actual software website?
The script just knows what files to download and how to run the installer. We don't have to have the package actually installed on the website.
Yeah, so you don't have to manually like update the software.
We have a version tag in the XML, how it's stored, so later when we run the client, it'll check to see the version you installed on and the version it is now to see if you have an update to get. So eventually it'll be able to do. That's it.